It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Good.
We're gonna wait next week to start painting.
And Sid said,
Oh, I
where
will.
is Halloween jacket? And they
Okay, I'm
didn't
at
have
100%. Where are you at?
Made a noise too.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Did it
Is
give you a
everyone-
little-
Mine won't last, yeah, the whole time, so we'll see.
All right, trade use.
Yeah, well, I'll give you the panic, the panic look if I need it. And that way we don't have to say, oh, hungry.
Well, there you go. You were ready.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in.
Whenever you're ready.
That's in case.
Oh,
You baby?
can we hear?
No.
Dudes, give us a voice check. Hey, welcome.
Oh.
Can you hear you?
Barely.
Maybe
Can
we
you
should-
do that again?
Maybe
Test
we'll-
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
how's
Sid.
that? Hi,
Much better,
okay, that was
much
my end.
better. Okay, are we all ready for recording? Yeah.
Check it.
Is everyone here? Are we
Well,
missing?
it's 6:01.
Expecting. Sorry.
6:01.
I'm gonna do the. No, no.
Thank you.
I'm gonna do the, allow.
One of the Angela, I'm the Angela that,
That's Delta.
got the two,
Ask you later.
the microphone and the video off. Because he forwarded it.
Okay, are you ready? Open
She
it.
just gets
Somehow
together.
both of those, all these Andrew Vaughn's had their names spelled wrong and I.
Please, yeah.
We'll talk.
I know.
Well,
better.
excellent.
I don't know.
Are we ready?
We're ready.
Recording in progress.
Right, let's call to order the October CAPS meeting at 6:01 p.m. We have a roll call, please.
Chairman Andrew Vaughn,
Here.
Vice Chair Suze Paxton,
Here,
Stephanie Coffin,
Here.
Sherry Smith,
Here.
Liza McKenzie here, Chris Nunes, Susan Chevalier here, Brandon, oh, got it,
Perfectly.
and Trustee Hammerly.
Here.
We have, Chris here. Hey, so close.
Did you hear your name or yours?
that boring
We
for
can
everyone?
just briefly introduce our guests this evening. Can we start over in the corner there?
I'm Connor. I'm from Modern.
Okay, and this is part of student government,
Yeah.
a requirement. And you,
I'm Henry.
also from Monarch? Yep. Okay, and over here,
I'm Bruce Skelton, it's for the inclusive citizen, want to know what you're up to.
wonderful. Thank you. Do we have public comment?
Let's do the agenda real quick.
Okay, sorry, you're right. I need to not say that, I got all excited with all our people.
Has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda? Does anyone have any changes or additions? Could I entertain a motion to approve the agenda, please?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Seconded. Thank you. Agenda is approved. Now,
Go ahead.
would anyone for public comment, especially you guys in the room? Anyone? You okay?
And we have no one on Zoom.
Yes.
Yes, and tonight we have a guest, town staff, Karen Snortland. She's the recreation supervisor. And I've invited her to the meeting to talk about all things civic rec, because it's something that has come up frequently at a lot of our meetings. We've used Eventbrite. We haven't used civic rec a lot, and I know there's been concerns and questions, and Karen is truly the expert. She runs the show here with all programming and all the data entry and really knows it back and forth. So I think she's our go-to person. So just out of respect for Karen's time, we did put her at the beginning of the agenda. Her son has a football game this evening. She's got to leave that promptly at a time. So I do want to, out of that respect, I don't want this to be a conversation so much about Eventbrite as about civic rec. And then if we do want to have a conversation about Eventbrite, we can maybe do that once Karen is done with her part.
Okay.
Why is that black screen there? I'm not
Something
sure.
on top. Are you just sharing your web browser?
Yeah.
Is there anything like a chat window in front of it or something?
I'm not sure either. Do you see that?
Yeah.
What else do you have up on your computer? It might be behind your browser.
Sharing. Let's see.
Do you wanna,
Minimize everything that your computer's.
So you might want to minimize your web page and see if there's anything open behind it. Like your web browser? Yeah, do you have anything open? Notes or anything open?
Sharing is paused. Well, I guess I don't really have to have it open. I can answer questions.
don't need to pull it up on
Or
the.
maybe try sharing full screen instead of just the.
Let's see. Let's stop again and start over. Wow,
Did you share the application or the whole screen?
just the screen. So
Try
screen sharing.
Try sharing Chrome or Edge or whatever it is.
Do you wanna
I could,
tinker while we talk? Would that work?
Yeah, so layouts and options.
if you're sharing though, there's full screen.
While she's working on
Yeah,
that,
talk it through. Sorry.
I think I had mentioned that when I know we've all had ins and outs with Eventbrite and or even possibly Civic Rec in the past. I think we've had some eye-opening experiences. We've had issues with wait lists, things of that nature. I had problems myself when I did the plein air. This time around, I do want to, for the next upcoming workshop is Stephanie's stained glass, and I did run it through Stephanie first. Do you have a preference between Eventbrite or Civic Rec? And she said, just do whatever is best. So I went ahead and ran it through Civic Rec and it filled in one day. That
Yeah,
is
it
a
did.
record.
Fast.
Oh, yeah, I've got people asking me to.
You've got 20, it's filled in one day plus 8 on the waiting list.
Yeah,
So that is definitely a record, and I think that's maybe a good starting point. Because I know it's been of concern, though, the whole waitlist thing, because Eventbrite has been problematic. And a lot some of it's automatic, some of it's not, but that was some of the things I asked Karen to help with. Maybe we stop?
And who else can run it? Could I run it or? Could
Yeah, you
run
could,
it? Does it just go to Civic Rec something?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just on the front facing Civic Rec side, and I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with or has an account in Civic Rec. We, here at the community center, all of the programs run through, Civic Rec, and we don't want to have any barriers for participation in any of our programs. So the guest services staff are well versed on creating accounts for people, registering for classes for people, so if that was a question that you might have had, like people have to create an account. Well, we don't want that to be a barrier. So they will take care of doing that for them right there at the front desk. When programs are happening inside the building, we have the backside of Civic Rec that all the staff see. And so they can tell when it's a program versus a reservation by a resident or a local group. And so when it's a town sponsored, which would be what CAPS programs are, they are town sponsored. When it's one of those programs in the system, then they have all of the information right there at their fingertips. If someone's to call on the phone and say, hey, I saw this workshop, I have questions about it, they can pull it up in Civic Rec and see all of the info right there. They can actually register someone over the phone if someone calls in and says, hey, I want to be a part of that. So that's an excellent benefit to utilizing Civic Rec. We're really working with everyone in the community to, try and get them all on board to use Civic Rec as well. A bunch of our seniors, as Sandy knows, we have them utilizing the system and entering, making accounts, which a lot of them we have had the front desk staff help, but a lot of them have also done it themselves. And it just makes it, kind of even keel across the board when utilizing one system, especially when the programs are being held, most of them inside this facility. So then, and it doesn't have to be inside this facility. We have the ability to reserve all the different town facilities within that application. So like when the civic space comes online later next year, we will have a whole section for the civic space as well, and all the programming in there will go through Civic Rec as well.
So when you're teaching a class there, do we get access to the class list, and can we make changes in our classes through there too?
Yeah, so JG would be the instructor on the backside and as the staff liaison, and so she would have access to all of that. And she can, or you can actually even call the front desk too, and the front desk can go ahead and shoot you a roster so that you can see that. And then anything that needs to happen on the backside, like especially with the CAPS class. Wow, how did you do that?
It took a while, but.
Okay.
Where would you like me to go?
So the CAPS, art classes is that first one that's listed there. So here's what it looks like in the system. And if you scroll down, you'll see that it has 20 with 20 on the wait list.
Wait, we left it at 10.
We left what?
It was 10 participants.
No, it is 20 participants, and you have
Oh,
a huge wait list.
oh, I do.
Yes.
How big is the wait list?
20.
Okay.
And all of that can be managed. The wait list is
Right.
very easily to be managed from the backside. We can go in and automatically enroll people, or you can give them 24 to 72 hours to make the decision on whether they want to be a part of the class. And that takes place all on the backside.
I have a question. We've had a lot of concerns with people signing up and not showing up.
Yes.
And I do send people emails saying, please unenroll yourself, or if you have troubles with that, and this is on Eventbrite, that I can, take you out, just so we can free up space for the wait list. And so I don't know if that's been a barrier or if other things have been a barrier, but can you walk through how the wait list works?
Yeah.
And does the person have to take themselves?
Nope, we can do it at the front desk. Someone can call, they can do it themselves. There is a way to log into your account. And then even though it's a free program, it's called a refund. So you just hit the refund button and it refunds, or it takes you out of the class. Or you can call the front desk and you can say, hey, this person has let us know that we're not going to be able to attend. And the other thing we could do, JG, so that if it wasn't, you didn't want to have to manage it, but someone from CAPS wanted to be able to manage it, we can give them access to the instructor portal, which doesn't give you access to the entire system, which is what JG has, but we can give you access to the instructor portal. And in that instructor portal, you can see rosters, you can email the participants all from that. You can then send it. So the only thing the instructor can't do is the instructor can't do enrollments off of wait lists. We have that in as a enhancement to Civic Rec, and there's many people across the United States who use Civic Rec who also have that same enhancement request. So we're hoping that may happen here sooner rather than later. But you would have to just shoot a quick email to JG. I can assist. Anyone, can assist with enrolling or deleting people from the class.
We seem to have those happen on Friday night, so the instructor would have the ability to make the changes then on Friday night, because trying to email or get it
Yeah, so
like
we're,
a
so we're
class.
open, until 10 PM on
Mhm.
Friday night, and the staff at the front desk can
Can do it.
take care of this stuff. So if you are the instructor, you call the front desk and you say, hey, I need this, and this
Right.
removed. You know, and these people sent either a link or automatically enrolled.
Now, when they're on a wait list, do they get information about the class as well?
Yep,
So they can
They-
show up to the class and just say, I was on the wait list, so I'm here to take the class?
nope,
No.
because they're
Because
not.
that
enrolled.
happens a lot at my workshops, where they just show up,
Right.
and they're not even on the list.
Right, and
Yeah.
like for Liza's most
Yeah,
recent class, I sent I sent multiple emails.
Yeah,
But my last one was, if you're on the wait list, here
yeah,
are some tips, and one of them was, like,
right,
if a spot opens up,
Right.
you'll be alerted, blah, 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 but then you can show up, but that does not mean, to see if there's an open spot, like if somebody doesn't show. But if there is no open spots, you cannot participate.
It's a lot
Something
of
to
people
that
on wait
nature.
list.
Yeah, and so the other thing that's cool about Civic Rec as far as, reminders about the class or wait list. So anytime any sort of movement is made in a person's account, they get an email. So if we're enrolling them in, or we're giving them the link, they'll get an email either way. We can also, which I haven't set up, I don't have any verbiage in there yet, but it will send an automatic reminder to all the participants who are officially enrolled, 2, 3, 1 day, 2 hours, however long you want before the class starts. It will send them an email reminder. You are registered for this class, or you can do it like a week out and say, if your plans have changed, let us know.
They
Email
cancel,
this.
because last time I tried to use it for myself, we had to call the community center to cancel the reservation.
Yeah, so you can do it yourself, especially with free programs. If it's a fee-based program, then yes, you have to call and request a cancellation. But if there are 0 fees, you can do it yourself.
So how would we do this if we wanted to charge a fee? Like, let's say the next class I hold, I want to charge a $10 fee to secure their spots. How does that work?
So we just set it up as a fee-based program instead of the 0 there.
Mhm.
We enter the fees on the backside,
Okay.
and it'll show up with a fee, and then it will charge them. And then we have GL accounts, general ledger accounts in the back that would go.
The caps, would it go to caps?
I believe there is a GL, a committee GL,
Oh,
I believe,
Ooh,
but that we have to
nice.
check.
we'd have to find out, yeah, because that's been a question that we've had.
We want to do, yeah.
And again, I know we're not talking Civic Rec versus Eventbrite, but I think in the spirit of what she's talking about,
Mhm.
what has been a little challenging is because have been registering through Eventbrite, the only thing the front desk sees is my room reservation.
Oh,
And I put notes in there,
yeah,
but that's all they've got. And if somebody calls the front desk,
Yeah.
the front desk doesn't have any ability to go into Eventbrite and help. So it's really all me
yeah.
during my business hours.
So
Right.
I just had someone ask, lady we just spoke to before here, she said the wait list was full. So what happens when the wait list is full? Is there like another wait list?
Nope, it'll stop at that.
I have
We
I have a
can bump it
suggestion.
up.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have a suggestion about the wait list. To me, a wait list it indicates that it's popular and that there should be an additional class offered. When I go to open mics and there isn't a spot, I always show up hoping that there is, and they slot me in if they can. But when I have to pull a card and like register for a slot, one of the ones I go to, they will give precedence to the next week. And so everybody who doesn't make it in your class could get they are automatically enrolled in the next class if they want to be.
Right.
If
And that-
she does one.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what we do with all of our programs here. If we see that the wait list is maxing out like this, that is a definite, just like Sue says, it's a definite indication that we need to offer another class.
Right. Yeah.
When someone's on the wait list, do they know where they are on the wait list, whether they're 1 or 20?
No, they do not, but we can see that from the backside.
Is there any way you could do that? Because the reason I asked the question, if you know you've got a wait list of 20 and you're 20,
Yeah.
you're not gonna show up the next day
Right.
But we
because,
don't want people showing up, I don't think, right? You want them.
Yeah,
You could add some verbiage that says, if you are on the wait list, please wait for notification that you're.
We just want the system
been
to properly notify.
Yeah.
Right, and I think why I added that on my Eventbrite message is because we've been having those shows and said, it was sort of like, you can show up, but there's no guarantee there's gonna be an open spot.
So for me, like for this class, would I be able to access the people on the wait list and get their information? And maybe during class, if I have an open spot, I could call them at that point and say, come on down.
I can on the front desk.
Okay, so you can so I can get their phone number and email from you. Okay.
Yeah, and like with Eventbrite, I've been downloading that. And
Yeah.
emailing it to
And
you.
that's
And that
exactly
was,
what you would do.
that was weird. That list, people from all over the state, which was so inaccurate because everybody was from Superior. Remember you said these people are coming out from different, like Durango
Yeah,
and
that might have
stuff.
been
It's
how
weird.
and when they created
Yeah.
their account on Eventbrite, yeah.
Is there a way, we've been talking about either having a no-show fee or a refund for people that do show up? Is there a way to manage that?
How do you mean a refund for people who do show up?
So we want to penalize people that no-show, essentially, right? So the class is free, but you have a little bit of a stake. If you skip it, you can charge $10 or whatever.
Yeah, so we can't retroactively charge. The charge has to be upfront.
No, but if you had a registration fee upfront,
Mhm.
when you show up for the class, you get refunded the fee.
Oh, I mean,
That's a lot of work.
that's admin. If we had a Parks and Rec admin.
I would, for like class like this, I would say
That's
charge a
what you said.
$10 fee and keep it, put it in caps and we can use it for more supplies.
Supplies.
Yeah.
Well, I will give you an example. So Pari, who is our open space ranger, she's offering lots of open space programming.
Yeah.
The first few programs that she offered, all filled.
Yeah.
But the day of the program, she would have 25 people registered and 7 people would show up.
Yes.
So guess what she did? She just offered a program in November. It's coming up on the 12th and charged $5. Or no, actually it was the one that just happened in the beginning of October. She charged $5. She had 12 people register and all 12 showed up.
That's what I
And
think
it's
we
only
should start
$5.
doing, yeah.
And that just goes back to the general fund for general supplies.
Psychology,
Yeah.
honestly. So
Right.
this filled up in one day on Civic Rec, 20 slots in one day.
Half a day.
It was
yeah,
like
I was gonna say,
within hours.
it was
literally.
filled by 10 o'clock, because I
Yeah.
went out and tried to sign up at 10 o'clock and was told it was filled and there was no room on the wait list, so.
No room on the wait list either, that's 40 people.
Yeah.
Jesus,
I think that's you, not the platform.
that's a lot. Awesome.
Are there any other questions about civic? I have some questions, and I had go ahead.
So I registered for the stained glass workshop because
Yeah.
I've never been to a workshop because it's always full. So I
Awesome.
was like, yay.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to see what I got back. So I immediately got a confirmation and this cancellation policy. So it had all and is that something that is easily customizable? So if we, added rules about no shows, could that be?
So
added into
that
that?
cancellation policy is the Parks Recreation and Open Spaces official program cancellation
Okay.
policy. So that policy has been written and is in stone, but if there's information that you want to enter regarding that specific program, when we set up the program on the backside, there's all the tabs and there's a receipt tab. So you could add info that would show up on their receipt.
Got it.
Mhm.
You can also add it in the description, in any of the descriptions, you could put it there. I like the receipt idea because it doesn't get lost with the description information.
Right.
So if you put that on the receipt, then when they get that email to them, it's right there.
Okay. I was so worried it wouldn't fill. It's crazy.
So with waivers, we've been doing waivers
Yes.
and I've been just generating them and printing out hard copy and providing them to whoever's teaching. Can you talk a little bit
Yep,
about that?
so we, Parks Recreation and Open Space, we have a requirement that we have to have waivers that go out and be signed by participants. So on the back side of the system, we can see in the roster, there's a list that says waivers and it says whether you've signed it or not. And there's a little email. So we can, or my staff can go in and just click email. If someone didn't sign it, we would just email it to them again. It's attached, a part of the program setup process on the backside. We just attach our official program liability waiver from the town attorney that we attach to all programming.
Is it the same? Because we had ours customized, remember, because they were working with glass. Does it cover everything?
It covers everything, top to bottom. It covers having your picture taken during the class, you know, all of that. And it's been approved by the town attorney for all programs.
And does the instructor get copies of that? Because like for me, I'm insured to teach the workshop, so.
So we have that all in the back end, and because it's a town program and you're teaching for a town program, JG would have access.
So you can print out the waivers okay. That's awesome.
Would I need to print out the waivers?
I mean,
They're
only if I
saved
get
in
sued,
the-
if I get sued, probably, but.
And then the other thing, and I brought this up in an email to the group, you know, I'm really thinking for much further down the road with applications for fundraising, eligibility, things like that. And there's a ton of requirements for data, reporting, all this stuff for programs, you know, in and around participants and content and cost versus no cost, like all that stuff. I have never delved into or know nothing about any kind of reporting that.
This has that was one of the reasons why we decided to go with Civic Rec when we changed softwares 2.5 years ago, was because of the reporting. So there are customizable reports. There are reports that if it doesn't actually meet the information that we need, we can get in contact with our CSM, who is our customer success manager, and they can help us create a specific report. I know that Katie in aquatics has met with them and has specific reporting that she uses on the back end. And so we can, that's all, you know, in there, and, you know, we can, you know, make it work for us.
Okay. So the only thing we have to make sure is that there's a ledger account for caps if we want to charge
Well, we
fees.
need to look into that.
We need to double check that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it could just go into the general program fund, and then it's tracked. I'm not,
Yeah.
because I use that for seniors, I use it for adult youth, I use it for all the programs, so.
So in that case, it's reasonable that we could do these charge for these workshops in the future. That would be nice.
Yeah, and all of that's reportable through the system as well. And like what you were saying, as far as like class details and things of that nature, you can go in and do a program export that will pull like the name of the class, the description, you know, all of that stuff.
Okay.
So,
And it would capture like the age range that because those are all things that the reporting and application requires.
Yep.
It's really daunting.
yeah. And I do have an email into our CSM regarding going back and entering program participant data. So like if there's something that didn't necessarily require a sign up, but we put it in Civic Rec so that it gets the maximum amount of advertising, whether we can go back and add how many people showed up.
Long agenda here. We have a long agenda here.
We do.
Yep.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Karen.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, if there's ever, I'm Karen Sorlin, I'm here in the building, you can always ask me at the front desk, I'm more than willing to answer questions, you know, whatever we can do to help support you guys, so.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
While you're gathering up, I'll let you get started. Do you all need photos for your class? I can actually
Next
take
thing
them
on the
all.
agenda is the staff updates. but-
That's you. We can move around though. We go back to staff updates.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Marshall Fire Memorial. Phyllis-
Money, exactly. And so now you want to.
Nice. Y'all could look up here.
Yes.
And then we let people.
Yes. Absolutely. Right, I'm gonna duck.
You ready?
One of the game.
One.
You're not in. It's for the academy. I need to work it out. And so it's for. I'm playing it ours. Like 20 minutes
Ready?
from
One,
here.
two, three. See if that works.
Sure, the workshop. I'll have space for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very nice to see you all.
Thank you.
We need an Yeah, they're cute. They're
It is
very
all,
cute.
but
I think they're very
it's not, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, the ones for CBR are cuter. Have you seen those?
Okay, so your Q4 budget report is on the back of your agenda. I also sent it out via email. No, okay. And basically everything's in there. And there's some upcoming expected charges that will probably be reported this week still. So I went ahead and added those in, and those are in the light gray italicized. So you can kind of see what your budget is. And I think Andrew and you all can probably speak to what the spend down will look like for the remainder of the year. And then your discretionary budget, as a reminder, all of the advisory committees have a $5,000 annual budget. Because CAPS has a separate budget, yours has always been referred to as discretionary. And so we typically use that for the art call costs, memberships, moving, things of that sort, and then reserve your programming and your public art and all of that for the other budget. So anytime you ever want a budget report in between meetings, you can always just let me know and I can zip you over where we are with that.
Something came to me while we were talking about this on the budget. I don't see the purchase prices for the AI art comps that have been pursued.
I have not received any invoices yet.
All right, ping them. Yeah, ping them just, we need them to send invoices, I guess, right? And then we
Yeah.
might need a
So I need invoices and W-9s.
W-9.
Mhm.
We might need them to model, we might need to model those, these are just people, some of them, so we might need to.
So I had a question on the workshop supplies for the stained glass. Should we put on there that covered 3 workshops? Because we've gotten 3 workshops out of that, which is amazing. Yeah,
I mean, I can always add it as a note.
okay. Yeah, because that's it's just a note for like in the future, if someone wants to do it, like, get another stained glass art, I don't know.
Sure.
That's, have an idea of how much per class.
Such a good shopper.
I know. You are actually, you did it.
One more thing, can we get to push the neighborhood sponsorship, we need the sponsorships to be things. Because one of the things on the budget, I mean, we have $3,000 in that account, we spent about 500 of it, so. And it'll just roll off, I think we need to leave it reserved.
Yeah.
We can get it back to the town, that's fine, but let's give people a chance to do that in the last 2 or 3 months.
Artwork installation status, the Mike Clapper piece is actually going in tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. It was similar to the mural where it was a lot of wait, and then we're going. So that's gonna start at 10 a.m. We've got lane closures lined up. Mike is bringing in his own forklift and his crew. So that's gonna be happening. It'll probably take 2 to 3 hours max. And again, that's on Rock Creek Parkway, between Pitkin and Indiana. Is that right?
I guess 10, we're gonna approve that, and 7A.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's pending, but it's scheduled. But I don't think it's a surprise to anyone. I've also had conversations with Joe Norman. Last month, you all voted to for a maximum budget of 11,000 for his installation. And there was a lot of conversation about the need or no need for the concrete pad. In my absence, I know that you touched base with him, and then I followed up when I got back and kind of finished up the conversation and asked some deeper questions about the concrete. And the more I talked to him, the more I realized we probably do need it. And then I also started thinking that if it's a piece that CAPS does not end up purchasing and or paying for loan, then that concrete base would be there for future pieces. So I thought it's worth the investment for the safety and security of this piece and use for future. So basically what I think what's going to happen is CAPS will pay for the agreed amount, and then I'll pay out of my budget for the concrete pad. So I think it's a kind of a win-win and.
Did we buy a sandstone plinth that's going underneath it? And do we know what that looks like? Do we have it?
I thought he had sent photos.
Rendered in the last meeting, and it's two, right? It's a.
I think it's two, it's a stack.
So we own those, even if we
Do
don't?
we own them? I'm not sure.
It's a good question, but I mean, yeah, I think. How would we be leasing them? Maybe we'll clarify, but yeah.
So anyway, so the payment for that installation was split into two because he needs upfront money, for the stones and all of that stuff. And so that's been initiated. And I'm gonna guess that the concrete would probably start next week. And then probably the week after that is when he'll come in and we'll go in with lane closures and the crane and everything to get that piece in. So I'll keep you updated on that install.
Yeah.
I know that we have the Gregory Fields piece, but we're trying to get these big ones taken care of first. And then we'll start hitting the Gregory Fields, because that's ground prep, a concrete block that's gotta be moved across town. So we'll do Gregory Fields after that, and then start hitting those prairie dogs.
Yeah.
There's also ground prep and forklifting concrete, a couple 1,000-pound concrete pads across town. So lot of work and teamwork, but we'll make it work. It's just not as quick as we had hoped.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where things are there. Just a reminder for the volunteer celebration open house. I think the invites have gone out. We'd love to see you there. It's great for advisory committees to gather in such a way, and all advisory groups, November 8th, 6 to 8 p.m. And it's a catered event. Reminder of the next meeting, date change, because the CAPS meeting fell either on or right next to Thanksgiving. Remember that your November meeting is on the 21st of November. At the next meeting, we also have town staff coming from building and planning to talk about the town comprehensive plan. They have a consultant that will be coming to visit, and just they're chatting with each of the advisory committees. And they've developed 3 questions that they are wanting liaisons to send out to the advisory committee, so you can kind of think about what their information they're wanting from you ahead of time, just to be time sensitive. But basically, the town has a comprehensive plan that's usually updated every 10 years, and they're a little overdue. I think the last time it was updated was 2012. So they are working on that. So plan on that visit next month. And then know that this is further down in the agenda, but finalization of your 2025 work plan does need to happen in December, because on the staff side of things, we're planning for all of the, when the work plans will go to the board in January and February. And I always like to get CAPS and historical in the January meetings so that you all can get going with your work. And that's all I've got.
All right, so let's move on to general updates and debriefings. First update is the Marshall Fire Memorial Subcommittee. Finally got some action. We delayed our previous meeting because the survey wasn't getting a whole lot of action, so we publicized it a couple more times, extended the deadline, but it closed on Sunday and we met on Monday. Most of us talked about it. The outcome of that meeting was that we basically decided to think about it some more and we had like 3 fairly critical members. We had a good group, but a couple that were not represented. So, but recall that we did the initial survey that was very open-ended. We asked people where it should be, and that was like fill in the blank, right? The second survey was we took all of those results and boiled them down. These are the like 5 places that people thought the memorial should be. So we didn't say where anywhere, we said, where of these 5 do you think it should be? And of these 3 very particular types of memorials that we propose which of these appeals to you, and should we call it a memorial or a commemoration, or, so we asked some very pointed questions, got some good answers, got about 160 results.
That's it.
Yeah, we got about 400 out of the first one, and 160 out of this one, but I think they were meaningful. I think they were looking at the data, the way the columns stacked up. I think they're significant. But we want to hear from the rest of the committee, and there were some, surprises maybe, like location. Personally, I was thinking Founders Park was probably going to be a slam dunk. That may not be the case. And so taking another 2 weeks to sort of let some of these things sink in and get the rest of the committee on board to look at. So that's where we are with Market Fire. All right, moving down to debriefing on starting with the mural. You guys have seen all my exciting posts about the mural. We all went down there for the most part. Does anybody utilize it? I can walk through the process here.
Oh, what we did?
Yeah, so here we just got for the record, the semifinalist interviews, the selection, and then just kind of the completion process.
You do it and I'll write it.
Okay.
Otherwise I'll have to.
So the selection committee, we had roughly 90 entries. We whittled them down to 3. We sent those 3 a $450 honorarium to come up with their designs. They turned them around very quickly. And it was like over a weekend, right? Basically.
It was amazing.
And then the jury committee met here in this room, and we had 2 of the 3 present in person and 1 over Zoom. The designs, we had 2 in particular that we liked a lot, and we'll talk about the runner-up a little bit later. But we picked AJ Davis, and that's the one, that ultimately we painted, and he. So we ranked him for the board. Liza was at the board meeting. There was some good discussion about if it was the right choice, but ultimately they concurred with us, and I think everyone who has seen it.
It's beautiful.
Has been very pleased.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Put some stuff up on Facebook, it's got 150, positive reactions and comments and things. So it's all positive as far as I can tell so far. And really is spectacular.
That's amazing.
Well done.
The only sad thing is, it's in a tunnel.
I know, right?
It's like so
I would like to see it everywhere.
We could see it more, but the tunnel looks a lot better. It looks
And the
amazing.
lighting.
The lighting is
Phenomenal.
And I went down there during the day the other day to show my sister, and it was on. So has it changed?
Well, and part of the reason why it's on is because it's actually, those lights are connected to town hall, external lights.
Yeah.
And they're on a sensor, so poor AJ was kind of painting in the
Right.
dark, and I think you would notice that, so they just covered the sensor.
Oh, is it still
And they're
covered?
on. We'll eventually separate them,
Okay.
but I think it would be ideal, especially after this went in, and for safety reasons, just to keep the lights on all the time.
Yeah, you definitely need them on to see it, because it is dark in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like 2 PM and they were on.
Yeah.
So everyone, be proud of yourselves. It was a big deal.
It was a big deal, and all the
Fun.
pieces and parts, it was a well-oiled machine.
It's gorgeous.
Awesome job.
The town loves it. So. Chris, do you want to speak to our AI competition opening reception, which we held on?
Sure, that was a month ago.
Yeah.
We had 3 of the 4 winning artists show up for the event. I think we had 5 of our committee show up for that or so. Thank you for everyone that came. It was lightly attended. But the pieces they look great on the screens. The screens are really just a really cool asset. We got to find a way to use them more. And I think one of Sandy's suggestions that I totally agree with is that probably for the time being, that the digital shows should be attached to another event, not standalone, to try to get more people in.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So that's, I think, one of the mental gymnastics for a digital event 4 coming up is seeing if there's something else we could attach it to. But I feel like a lot of the artists were excited about it and excited to see us. A lot of people said, "Oh my God, Superior, really?" Like they were shocked that we were doing something so cutting edge, positively shocked. So that was sort of the common theme that I heard from the artists that participated.
I wish we could have had more people. I mean, it looked phenomenal. It was a cool setup. The venue loved to have us. I mean, they were thrilled to have us in there. It was a good ad for their evening. So, yeah.
It was fun. We enjoyed it. It was fun.
It's just very expensive
Yeah.
to move the screens.
It's a lot of work on you too.
We did do a fair amount of running around too, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
finding a way to make that moving expense worth it, I think is also gonna be an interesting exercise.
Yeah, maybe.
Or if there's a way to keep them out of storage and used, would be even better.
So excited, yeah.
I know, that's what I was thinking too.
And I did not bring the key. I have a whole box of stuff I can bring it by.
I'll just keep it in my reminders to myself and I'll just keep reminding you, but thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And then we also had the needle felting workshop, which I think.
So much fun.
Yeah, it was fun. We had 15 people attend out of 20 and.
It was only 15, but not everyone showed.
No, so nobody on the wait list made it, but I think 15 was actually a good number.
Yeah.
So nothing went to waste. We
No.
just divided up the bags and just left over. And I think I do want to do it again. That was
It was a
sort
lot
of like
of
the question before us,
Yeah.
what do you want to do next year? I was like, I don't know, I'll see how this one goes, but it went really well, it was really
Yeah.
fun. And now I know what I want to do differently next year, so.
All right.
The first one's always kind of tough, but
Yeah.
it went very
just kinda
well.
went in
A lot of positive
blind.
people. I mean, everyone really enjoyed themselves at it. Everyone liked it.
Just laughing and.
Some really cute things are made.
Yeah.
I mean, some awesome ones. I made a hedgehog and then Modine. Anyone know who Modine is? Nobody knows about the baby hippopotamus?
You want me to run that in and then?
No.
Great. Yeah, I had we had about half show for the photo walk, and I also had the same, like, that ended up probably being okay. Might have been a big crowd if we had filled it up.
Yes.
I think you should teach the rock rug next time. That would be
I
awesome.
would have to teach myself how to do that
Okay.
first, but.
Learn fast.
Okay, the last meeting, Gigi relayed that we had been, that Mimi Kruger from the Board Philharmonic reached out to us. So after that, I reached out to her. We met about a week later here at the community center, and Chris and I kind of had to tag team because of school pickup. So Chris was late, and I had to leave early. So we talked to her for almost an hour though. I think, you finished it. Were there any strong conclusions? Or, I mean, we had a couple of ideas, right? There's ways to do sort of boutique events. There may be ways to get the Philharmonic like here for like a Saturday night thing. There may be CAPS could fund specifically a quintet or something just here in the community center as one of our own events for something like $1,000, something like that. But my impression was we have a lot of people, we need to talk to Michaela, we need to talk to Tim, and we need to, like sort of figure out who owns all these things.
Another thing I was gonna try to chase down was what Mimi called salon events. So it's kind of like the boutique idea, but it's in-home concerts. And the Boulder Phil, they actually have their own ticketing platform. So if we can find residents that have homes that they want to open up for 30 or 40 people, the Boulder Phil would handle the ticketing and they could do sort of semi-private shows in homes,
What about businesses in Superior?
or that too.
Is this something you could do with your AI events and have them sort of, so you could draw in people who want to listen to the music and then have your AI kind of stuff going on as well?
The digital display.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like an art and music evening and.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. They liked the idea. I think I suggested something to the effect of kind of being background music, and they like to be.
They like to be the show?
They like to be
Yeah.
the show.
They like seated performances.
Okay, so they don't necessarily want milling around and chatting.
Yeah, I asked about like the cocktail kind of vibe, and she seemed like more interested in sort of very direct programming. But it also
That's
could be
very
something.
Philharmonic. That's very Philharmonic.
Yeah, I forget what I was gonna say. It was super important.
Well, the the money, yeah, I mean, she talks about, you just sell the tickets, 30, 40 tickets for the price, 40 tickets for $20 and, everybody wins.
Yeah. Oh, we did talk about recording the performances, having like a media library starting to be generated for CAPS.
Nice.
And they have some union provisions that could potentially allow us to do that, but we'd have to work with them on that.
Yeah, we have to pay for it.
We'd have to pay extra for it.
Okay, thanks, Chris. And then
But
upcoming,
I love the idea of maybe having like audio reactive AI art to the shows.
That would be cool.
stained glass coming up on November 2nd.
So it's full?
Full.
I think it's full. That's it.
Yeah, don't need to worry about advertising, so you're all
No.
set materials and
We're all set, yeah.
we're gonna be in our room or long?
We're gonna have to be in the big room.
We did that was the other decision that we made because Karen and I thought about, I think moving forward, I think part of the planning for any of your events or workshops, think about what you've had in the past and what you think this might be, because we've known that stained glass has been really popular and fills
Yeah.
fast. And the Osprey room can really only hold 8, 10 at the very most. And we just thought this would probably be better to keep in Long's Peak.
Yeah.
But moving forward, I just because Osprey was, kind of dedicated to CAPS, doesn't mean you always have to use it.
If we can store stuff in there, like
you can
grinders and stuff,
You can
yeah.
do that for sure. You can program in there, but I don't want you to feel like we have to take your class size down just because of that. You can, of course, still use Long's Peak. So it's up to you. I think a case by case.
So can
How
I
you wanna do
store
it.
class stuff in there?
We have cabinets in Long's Peak too.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to bring things ahead of time,
Okay.
just give the front desk a call if I'm
It's good
not
for
here.
Carrie to
That way you
lug
can
stuff around.
do it on the weekends
Yeah.
too. You
Yeah.
can just call them, let them know who you are, what you're doing, and you want to bring some supplies in. And if they can't for some reason get it into the cabinets, we can get it into the garage.
Okay. Sounds good.
You may want to agenda item, how we're gonna use that space. Maybe we talk about it a little more, getting cabinets, blocks, whatever it is we're gonna do with that space. Okay, great, Stephanie. Moving on to the work plan check-in. Chris, anything more to add to digital event forward?
No, but I'm liking the idea of possibly trying to get it attached to a salon event for the Board of Trustees.
So literally hosting these in someone's home?
Yeah, maybe moving one or two of the screens into a home in if we can find a show opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know whether there are
Sounds
events
like
like
that
that.
would not be Minecraft anymore.
That would not be.
I have a contact who would love to host a salon at her house. So I would like to contact her and then be in touch with you, Chris, maybe.
Yeah, 100%. I've got ideas too. I just haven't connected the dots yet. So,
Okay.
however, I would like to take advantage of the 2 high schoolers in the room. We had thought about maybe doing a digital art show where we might show really cool lands or buildings that were built in Minecraft. Could you guys think of any other types of art experiences or shows that you think high schoolers might be interested in?
Don't say Roblox. Anything else?
I can't really take it more than that. I think it's kind of creative. First, yeah. Really has an interest in something. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Which is Minecraft. Yeah.
So if you guys heard about something at school that was Minecraft related, your ears would perk out there, you might attend?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. What would get you to a yes?
How to do digital art?
Rice Krispie treats?
I think you need to tour might be.
How to do it? Okay.
Food,
Uh,
always food.
Oh, food, yeah, pizza.
okay.
I think how to make it. How to make digital art. A lot of people don't know how. I don't know. And I'm an artist. I have no clue.
Yeah, well, Chris did
Okay.
a seminar a year ago, so
Yeah, it was full. I couldn't get in.
talked about, but I keep missing the repeat.
Yeah.
Schools are just getting cooler and better.
It's astonishing, yeah. All right, Chris, let's keep talking. I don't know that we want to wait all the way until our next meeting to continue brainstorming on this, so let's talk. And we may have questions about whether we can use the screens in a private event. Yeah, I don't know how we figure that out, but let's figure it out. Okay, so let's move on to discussion stuff. Gigi, we've got, so first off, this is an important one. This is, we need to vote to approve the installation, revised installation fee for Mike Clapper. And we pretty much did this last time, but we didn't have the final cost of the engineering, right? So
Yeah, we just kind of had a ballpark, so basically the estimate that he sent me was, that I showed you last week was his forklift for 900, his crew staff for 650, and then his stamped engineering drawing for the footer pad and install is 1,200, so for a total of 2,750.
Can you say those again? Forklift.
900 for his telescoping forklift. 650 for his crew, install crew and transportation. 1,200 for his stamped engineered drawing for footer pad.
and is this a deviation from what we voted on? Same number?
It was, the engineering was a ballpark, so it wasn't a
What-
confirmed number. So the total is 2,750.
Which is a quarter of the other. Which you're helpful, yeah.
But he used to crane over a road. It's only 2 lanes. We got 4 to work with here.
All right. Liza, let me know when you're caught up. And we'll vote on this.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, let's just, I think, do a show of hands to approve. Oh, we'll need a motion, so I'll move that we approve Mike Clapper installation in Rock Creek Parkway for a cost of $2,750.
Seconded.
Let's do a roll call, see if it's money.
Okay.
Andrew,
Yes.
Suze? We can't hear you. Okay. Stephanie?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Liza?
Yes.
Chris?
Maybe. No.
Susan? Yes.
Okay, motion passes. So that will be installed, head out there at 10 a.m. tomorrow in Lucky Loop.
Are you going to be taking pictures of that or someone photographing that?
Yes, do we have?
We actually did not have that.
But it's on the budget.
Yeah, that's an oversight. Good question though. So we have retained, Blue Poetry who, they're the ones that did the photo walk.
Great.
And he had shown me some, commercials that he had done for Origin downtown, some other things, so they're well qualified. So we have, that's the quote that I sent out, to CAPS, the email list. So yeah, we retain them for a package to do 30 to 50 photographs, 1 to 3 minute, promotional video, interviews with the artist about the piece's inspiration and
So
materials.
they're going to be there tomorrow though?
They're gonna be there tomorrow
Awesome.
and pretty much the whole, we've hired them for 4 hours
Okay.
for the installation.
Anybody else going? Oh, I might work the job.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm next door to that. I'll be out there.
And then we've worked with comms, so comms will all assist by getting logos and stuff, so we can get some branding in there and stuff like that. And we're able to share with comms, right?
The products?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was gonna be my question for you. I feel like we're starting to need a town, or a CAPS repository of some kind. I mean, you probably have it on this machine, but we need to be organizing this media and everything we produce.
Well, and yeah, and it is in the queue for all, both historic and arts, video and even photos, like, but it's gonna be a section.
Yeah.
So is that what you mean?
Not just how we present it, but how we keep it and not.
Oh,
lose
how
it.
we keep it,
Yeah,
okay.
we need, we need an archive, and then we do need to present it to people as well.
We should also start working on those geocaches, getting some prices in, so we can get the geocaches in for the art cache walks.
Is that an issue for this year?
No, I think we did it for next year, right? Next year, so maybe January we can buy it. I'll work on some quotes for it though.
Okay, moving on to 7B, Gigi, maybe you want to introduce the possible retention of Hillary's mural design, which I've put up on the display here. Or I can, I mean, the board, so I think the mural jury panel found this design to be a close second to the one that we picked. We liked it, ultimately we picked the other one. The board felt the same way. There were some on the board that preferred this design for a variety of reasons. And it being close, there was a notion that maybe we want to somehow retain this design for future use. I don't really know what that means.
Well, basically the question came up during the board meeting. I was attending by Zoom. Liza was leading the Q&A along with Leslie Clark. And the question came up about, since it was such a close second, could it be possible to put it somewhere else? And Liza kind of walked them through the normal process of commissioning work and, you know, going through the RFQ and RFP process and things like that. So all of that was accurate. That said, because they were paid a design fee, and we have a very, very, very similar underpass nearby, it technically would be possible for you to retain the design and consider using it in another underpass. And I don't think it's anything that a decision you have to make tonight. It's just a concept to put out there, and know that the McCaslin underpass, the Rock Creek Parkway underpass, is going to be undergoing some renovation and work, because a lot of the concrete is kind of crumbling in it too, would go get the same lighting and things like that. So it was I just wanted to throw it out there because, you know, it wasn't really appropriate for me to chime in during the board
When are they
meeting on
doing the
that, but I
work?
wanted to share that with you, that technically you can keep this design for consideration.
Because we've already put out a call.
You put out the call, it's
Yeah.
been vetted, you actually
Okay.
paid for the design fee, so technically you could retain it.
Is that true of the third one too?
Technically, yeah.
So when is the Rock Creek underpass being worked on?
I don't know the exact timeline of that, like I
Yeah.
said, you know, therefore, you know, I'm not asking that you make a decision and a vote tonight, I just wanted
Yeah.
to share that information with you.
I would love to see that piece up. It's beautiful.
Because, and again, I bring it up because so many questions came up from our own board,
Yeah.
so.
Were those roses?
Peonies.
Peonies.
Would it have to be in the tunnel?
I don't think so,
We have a surface that big.
you know.
Sides of businesses or something.
You know, maybe that this could be on future agendas and I can keep on top of that other underpass, but to your point that you just made, I mean, maybe there could or should be another location in town, since the mural subcommittee is very interested in getting murals throughout town.
So here's a question though. So we put out a call with a budget. And so she gave us a price based on our space that we already painted and that budget. So we don't necessarily, might not have that same budget.
Correct.
Okay.
So, you know, like, let's say it's half, but you're still interested in that piece. I mean, I think that could be a negotiation with the artist. So just
So there's
again,
no-
throwing it out there.
So there's no action here to, retaining it doesn't mean paying them or
No.
hiring in any way.
It doesn't mean that we have owner rights to it, or, you know, it was a design
It's just-
specifically for space, but you did pay for it. And I'm sure the artist would be very interested in implementing it.
And for the record, this is the third, that we did not really recommend to for the board's consideration. And all three of these were proposals. So she actually liked the top one the most, I think, of all three, and then layering on some of these endangered animals, and then adding kind of human interaction on the bottom. And this is exactly what it would look like. It's not any kind of, you can't really see them, but this includes like words that name the animals and things. So. Okay.
You do kind of have it on there.
I do, yeah. We already talked about this. Yeah, so we scrambled a little because we had talked at the last meeting about redirecting some of the excess funds to the media production. And so we did speak to the board sort of indirectly through Leslie and get approval to spend some money from our excess funds on this media production. So we will do it for Silencio for sure. I assume for Coyote Hawk, although we'll see how this goes. And you have another contact so we can compete some bids. And then we'll see what we have budgeted for. And
did AJ do anything for his own girl?
He did, and he sent me a link with a time lapse and some photos, and I was getting ready to send it to you this morning, and I thought I better do a test. I clicked on it and the folder was empty, so I shot him a message saying, hey, that folder you made for us doesn't have anything in it. So hopefully he'll get back, and as soon as he sends me that, I'll send it back out.
the QR code on the mural goes to his Instagram, and I think he was posting. I'm not a huge Instagram person, but some of that stuff may already be public.
It'd just be nice to have the rights to that footage or whatever he shot, and then maybe turn it over to Blue, whoever for editing.
Yeah.
Blue Poetry.
Yep. Okay. And then the neighborhood sponsorship program, I kind of already spoke to that up top, but for everybody, we have like $2,500 left in the 2024 budget, and only 3 months of the year left.
That was my super important thing I was gonna say.
We only have one that actually was approved.
Was that the salon events could potentially be candidates for the grants program.
Oh,
Maybe someone in Caps needs to throw a neighborhood party.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about propriety of that, but certainly,
Yeah.
certainly, outreach,
Yeah.
our friends, our neighborhood neighbors, and, that's what we're for, so.
So Sue's your friend, whoever you're thinking of, they might be able to get like a food budget through the grants program. If they were the hosts.
And, there's the, block parties, which seem to be what's getting the most attention, but there's also projects, I think we have up to $500, maybe somebody get a mural painted or something in the next 2 or 3 months, a smaller, so encourage your neighbors and friends and everyone to block parties. And let's get it.
I'm gonna push. I got
as well.
big mark on the agenda here.
Okay, well, after I kind of rushed Karen.
Winter is coming. People don't want to throw parties.
Yeah.
You
Or paint murals or.
Right.
Have yoga classes or all the things, but.
Right.
We should, and the salon,
Definitely.
I mean, they're indoors, right? So the salon thing, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then I guess the last thing on here is the 2025 work plan finalization at the December meeting, which means we need to be working on it. Which I suppose we can just do
Let's do it.
if we have time.
And while he's queuing that up, just again, so typically work plans go to the board, in usually one of their meetings in January and one in February, where they review and ask questions and ultimately hopefully approve. And out of the, number of committees, you all know my preference of just trying to get it over with and get it done in January. So if that's the case, then I have to submit it in December. So as soon as the December CAPS meeting is done, I can literally submit it.
Well, if we do it tonight, couldn't we just get it finalized.
Or you can finalize it next.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's work
I
on
mean,
it.
you guys are so far ahead on it. You've been working on it for a long time, so that's why I feel confident.
I think we were just like trying to figure out if we were doing what, art talks or workshops or what we were doing as far as next year.
Sorry, I wanted to show some photos, and you guys were down there. Most of us were down there, but for the video and stuff, just going back to the mural, a couple of pictures that I took. I mean,
It really does look as good as his,
it's incredible. It's
mock-ups looked. It is glowing, almost, the colors.
And the detail.
Yeah.
And the part about the Robin and his grandmother, did you all read that part?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
proposed.
just amazing.
And the mayor put some stuff on Facebook and put some of that history in his post. I used a little AI magic to remove the cones from that picture, but
Looks good.
It looks like AI.
it looks like it's backlit. So
Yeah, it does.
And apparently all of the staff in town hall all walk down there every single day.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, which I was like, wow.
Because they like it so much.
Yeah, they were so excited about it.
We need to get more murals all over this town.
And AJ, he was engaging, he was welcoming, you know, it was very fun to go down there and chat.
Yeah. The only thing is, I think when y'all did your group photo, there was a clump or two of the clear coat. And at some point, somebody pulled it off and it pulled it all the way down to the concrete.
Oh, no.
And so when I was doing my walkthrough with AJ to, you know, technically close it out and before we could, you know, submit payment, I was like, ooh, it was about, you know, this side, up this side. And so I was like, is there any way you can fix that? You know, maybe even on the other side of your trip, and he was like, yeah, no problem. And we were getting ready to leave and he must have had an aha moment and remembered that he had a whole bunch of paint in his truck.
Oh, wow,
So he said he would do it right then.
nice.
Re-clear coated,
Oh,
Yeah.
so I'll keep an eye on that little spot.
Because he said that, you know, that stuff can take up to, I think, 3 weeks, depending on the temperature to fully cure and protect.
Yeah. So hopefully everything else goes well. It's really gorgeous.
All right, so this is what we have been sort of loosely bouncing around. Trustee Hammerly, are we still feeling like 70K is where we're at for, all right, so this number here is a sum. Excel is summing these, so we need to get it down 10K. And then over here in the, the monthly creative events, I think we, Susan and Brandon were thinking every other for the seminars. So, and they have the first, right, is it February that you already have?
It's booked for the 25th.
And it'll be in Hello Magazine,
Yeah.
Hello Superior. So exciting.
What's a seminar?
So we're calling them superior pairings, and it's going to be art talks by 2 artists.
Nice,
And Brandon arranged 2 mural artists for
Nice.
February.
cool.
It's gonna be here, in the News Center.
Yes.
Maybe we could have AI there.
Oh, I was thinking wine pairing.
Superior pairing.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
That would be good
Can
marketing.
you take the notes on this since you do I need to do?
No, he does. Yeah, you can relax.
Um,
Mhm. You just say discussed work, but.
what was I gonna say? Those are important.
Just life changing, life altering. And you totally forgot. Way to go.
So we had penciled in, look, we had committed you, Liza.
Oh,
so-
good, well, that's good.
Yeah, but do you want to wait till September?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it needs a cozy thing.
Okay, all right. That's true. That's true.
February's cozy.
December, are we doing the ornament thing in December?
No, we're
Because
not
I saw
gonna-
you have ornaments on the budget.
Yeah, do
You have an ornament, yeah, winter event ornament
Yeah.
workshop.
getting there. Because it's not gonna happen this year, and I suspect it's gonna be the same next year.
Okay,
It's morphed into more of a chamber event,
yeah,
downtown, outside. It sort of makes it tough unless, unless in 2025, the civic space is utilized and the studio could be potentially used, then
Where-
maybe.
we're gonna spend 1,000 on the pairings each time. I thought we set a budget of like 500 for those workshops. We weren't gonna go over that. You've got $6,000 for monthly art lectures for 6 talks.
Yeah, so, well, we can talk about that. We are paying the artists to come and talk to, and what was the budget you guys were thinking for the first?
I cannot remember what Brandon, hold on. Let me put my glasses on and see if I can find that.
Because we decided like, what, last year, was it this year or last year, that the max budget for workshop was 500. So that's excess money that we probably should be voting on.
Well, we're gonna vote on the whole.
Okay.
On the whole pack, on the whole.
Yeah.
I also think on digital exhibitions for $2,000, I mean, if we have to move the screens again, that's almost the budget right there, just moving it one time. So it's almost,
Needs to go up.
no, or just remove it and we'll figure out something else to do with the screens.
If they could be stored at the civic space,
And
could you
use the-
see eventing out there?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Well, I haven't seen the space, but I presume it would be fine.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah. But moving it from the storage space every time is just cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
So what's,
Well, let's
the-
leave it. I mean, we're talking, that was what I was gonna say. That was what was so important. And we're expecting that civic space sometime in mid-March, so let's call it June.
what's the 10K for the,
Because they haven't, I don't think they're gonna start for
But-
a while, so.
We're gonna have it. We will. I have confidence that sometime early summer, we will be able to utilize that. So maybe this type of budget for second half of 25 exhibitions in the civic space is realistic.
Maybe.
do we really need 5K for neighborhood grants?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's-
really? We
there's gonna
don't,
be
we've
more.
gotten only 2 in 6 months.
I think that's a publicity issue.
Really? Okay.
I'm hoping for projects. You know, the block parties are fun and fine. And I love it.
Projects would be awesome.
But I want people to be doing projects.
Yeah,
What's the artery engagement?
yeah.
That is, so the artery, I mean, these are basically the creative things, right? We've got the monthly art lectures. So on the previous, work plan, we had artery engagement and art roster, or how we were funding all of our workshops.
Oh, that's the
Okay.
workshops
That's
budget.
basically what we're doing.
So you've got 2 of them, 3 and 3, because you've also got art roster, publicity and events down below.
So probably you're right. What you're getting at is we don't
Yeah.
need one or the other, then I would probably agree.
Well, we actually should combine like the workshops with the monthly art lectures, like, because that's programming, right? Or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we could have
We may
line
want to-
items, but maybe,
So for like the geocaching, we have to figure out how many art pieces we want to geocache to. And like what you want to put in there, because you can put stickers in there and you have to keep resupplying them, but it's kind of cheap. Okay, those.
yeah, so give me an estimate, but you have, I mean, this is your number.
Yeah,
You texted
yeah.
me, so,
I figure 500 is good for like, I don't know, easily 10 pieces.
yeah, just to get it started. and
Yeah.
see how it takes off.
Yeah, exactly.
So probably, if we're not keeping both of these, then probably this one goes away, because it would not be artery engagement if we're doing them all here, it would be something having workshops. But that's like artery engagement was photo walk. We talked about a poetry thing on artery that didn't have anything. Play was intended to be artery.
when it comes to artery, it kind of feels like we might want to take a step back and rethink the whole artery concept now that we, the Metro District, is kind of screwing things up and,
Yeah,
you know, the whole thing that we had scheduled out for phase one was centered around downtown, and that's kind of out the door.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Revisiting how to do artery is a great idea.
What about working with the marketplace? Because they're very open to stuff. We found that out. Yeah, Brixmore?
Never mind.
You found out what?
But I think they might be open to like art stuff there.
Brixmor?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think, I reached out to Julie,
yeah,
the retail manager,
yeah,
like 8 months ago,
yeah,
and she seemed curious about what we might have in mind.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
that was all around like, what are we doing with the artery? Are we gonna run it by
exactly,
the
yeah,
marketplace?
yeah.
But they also have a lot of wall space.
And we are trying to build up a creative district there at Brixmor. So maybe there's opportunities there.
We got 15K here in murals, which is increase from 24 because we
Yeah.
felt like we were getting some inertia and getting excited about it, but all those numbers are up for.
And Drew, I wrote to Brandon because of course I can never find emails on my phone. I can only do it on a browser for some reason. But even if, so we only have 5 seminars, so even if we got cleared for $1,000 each, and it sounds like that might be an issue, it would only be 5,000.
Okay.
So, but I mean, obviously we'll have to talk about that.
If you're doing pairings, you know, and you've got 2 artists,
You're paying them each $500?
That, I don't know.
I
what
seem to
Brandon-
remember Brandon saying 250.
Was it 2? Okay, see, I cannot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah, especially if they're local and they're promoting whatever they're doing. A lot of them-
Because then if that's what we have, then.
But then you're adding on drinks and stuff too, right?
No.
No,
not-
it's just the
not-
times?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, we can't. do
Okay.
the drinks, unfortunately.
yeah.
Suze and Susan, you know, there's a budget in here for community music events. Suze, you were very efficient, spending most of your time. How do we feel about funding? Do we need it? Is this enough? Not enough? Too much?
I think that's a perfect place to be, sweet spot.
I see you have me next to media production
Yeah, what is that?
at 10K. I'm assuming it's like capturing the video and all the stuff on all the events.
And we jumped ahead a little bit, so I, you know, took point on getting food poetry, but, you know.
Oh, did that include, like you were gonna do a QR code for the art pieces as well?
This is, that's this,
No?
that's my pet project here.
Oh, that one?
I'm
Okay.
trying to put labels on a bunch of the outdoor artwork.
Because we need to combine that with the geocache codes too, because we can get the same codes put on like little pins when they find the geocache or stickers.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Well, my point though about the media production is you got 3,100 for one event with Mike. And so
This is three big,
3
Captures.
installations.
Yeah.
Okay.
or maybe if we are. If we can streamline, you know, maybe we can get it to 4 or something, you know, once we figure out, you know, get some competing bids and figure out exactly what it is we're after, you know, we wanted to document this one.
Yeah. But we had also talked about recording the pairings.
Oh, yeah,
So that's at least 5 events.
and does that need to be like hiring a studio for that, or can we do that with a mirrorless camera and a shotgun mic?
I mean, technically you could do it with an iPhone, but
Yeah.
it's editing is probably the bigger expense than the recording.
Is that something that college would do for us?
I don't know, I can't speak for them.
When the mayor did the state of Superior, they had like 3 cameras and a guy with the.
That's Nancy, our contracted person who's broadcasting right now.
Nancy's allowed to talk on her meetings. Nancy, can we hire you to record all our pairings?
I can talk to her. I actually hire, so Nancy and, her business partner, Andy, they document all of the board meetings and things like that, but when they do, like when Historic has done stuff, they have filmed things and that comes out of budget.
Feels like-
You know, they're gonna be filming Larry Dorsey giving a cemetery tour soon,
Right.
and that's gonna go into
Had a nice-
the library, like with caps. So we could ask her for a bid, for sure.
Also up here, we've got rent by installing artwork, which, in 2023, we got all our pieces, right at the last second. And spent all of 2024 trying to get them in. A lot of this money for 2024 ended up going to the installs. And some of it we took to the mural. We shipped it over to the mural. But so going into 2025, what is the group's philosophy on renting, buying, and installing artwork? Because we're not going to have 4 pieces that we're trying to get into the ground.
I think we should get more artwork.
I think we should identify where it's gonna go first.
Yes, definitely. So, yeah, we need to do that first. Let's make sure we do that before we start buying.
And,
Yeah.
and I tend to agree, but I mean, money and plan for how the, because we're at 72K, right? I mean,
Yeah.
make this 23, and we're there.
Well,
And you're gonna have to buy more glass for the workshops, for stained glass workshops too. Unless I can get more
Yeah.
donations.
Well,
and then we can put in the box as soon as possible,
Yeah.
in the other town, the boxes.
It has to go through that renovation now,
But when do you think that's gonna happen?
that I don't know.
And then
You need to
they,
know.
I will find out.
Yes.
I've already floated the question of like,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, 'cause I'm here,
Yeah.
she and I, well, we did that site visit
Yeah.
like last spring, and so it's kind of been on our radar.
Sandy, is the underpass contingent on the ballot measure? Do you remember?
On what?
But
The underpass at Rock Creek Parkway?
Yeah.
No, we have, I think it's either Dr. Cog or federal money to do that, so. But I don't know when they're gonna do it in 2025, but it will be in 2025.
it will be.
I'm pretty sure.
So what do we need to get this back up to like 17.5? Is that right? In order to match?
Yeah, what was it?
Well, it was 20,
It was 20, but they
Because-
paid for the 3.
because we had the design fee
Right.
came out of it, and then there was $1,000 contingency, which we did not end up spending this year. So FYI, on the budget, I had put the full 18,7 something, but I took it back out because we didn't spend the contingency. But it was 17,650.
You can drop the digital exhibitions, I think, to $1,000. If we're doing the second half of the year. And we're doing maybe 3 shows or something, $500 or three or $400 a show is fine.
Drop it to one day?
Yeah.
All right, so I just boosted this to the cost of just painting boxes. That it would be in the whole mural budget. That makes me a little sad. I like the foxes and doing the big project, but kind of also like the idea of just getting smart around Rock Creek and,
Yeah, I agree.
So we're paying 3,000, what's the publicity and events? That's the workshops?
so
Okay.
I expanded. So maybe our roster publicity is not the right name for that. I'll think
Yeah.
of something, but yeah, so
Okay.
workshops.
Where else can we cut?
Of which we've only got 5, maybe 6 at Christmas spring. Anyway,
Yeah, but that's no budget.
yeah. So I would say even if you needed all new stained glass stuff,
No, we just need
Yeah.
glass, that's all.
so this is more than generous. I was at $500 for the photo walk. You were at 500 from scratch for that.
We've got all the tools, everything, so we just need to restock like supplies, that's all. It'll be not much, probably 200.
This is not gonna
Maybe.
take, it's not gonna take 3,000 to do all 5 of those.
Yeah. Now we just need to get rid of 650, is that it?
Yeah, except I'm tempted to do this.
Yeah, I really think we should, honestly. I'd like to see more murals. So where can we find the money at?
One mural?
Well, that would be the big one with another, with three
Maybe
K
a
left
small one.
to,
Yeah.
to do some small ones around.
Yes, let's do it. Okay, so we need to find more money. All right, the 2,000 for music events. What music events?
Why don't, I'm looking at this, and since public art is maintained, I mean, could that be a partnership between CAPS and my budget,
Or which one?
the plaques?
Well, we would just add that extra and get more.
I don't need it. And I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, how many plaques is that? Is that a firm bid?
No,
I'm just
so
throwing it out there.
I did a bunch of internet research, you know, whether you're having these things cast in bronze, like you see on the side of the library, putting them on little stands that are, you know, laser etched or something. My guess was that $300 was a reasonable high. And so I was thinking we could get 10.
Not if they're bronze.
Well, if they're bronze, they could get.
Yeah,
I'm wondering, is there a different way to?
Yeah, it depends on how robust you need it, but.
Maybe.
When we've done plaques or like stands with QR codes about the art, but it's typically with like powder coated aluminum, laser etched, and those are.
But like for an outside, like bronze statue or something, where were they? Just at the base?
They were on pole posts that were mounted to the ground, like in various ways.
So, you know, I just various ideas that I literally just pulled from the internet. So here's one like kind of style that you could do. That's more of an indoor museum type piece. This is actually in Lafayette, right? So Lafayette does these little bent iron and they just print these. So she said these are $20, but they don't last because this is their temporary stuff, right?
That's very similar to the stuff that we would do out of aluminum and maybe $150.
Yeah. So these are permanent, and then the little plaque, they change year to year. This story thing is interesting. That's a service. Kind of like the Superior Click and Fix, where they'll customize their app so you get the Superior story app, and then you can do a bunch of engagement and stuff. You know, so just keep that on.
can we check it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the coolest. I think the next slide may have. Did it say?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that one's not it. Yeah, so there's another, you know, the talents have their own, I think this is like St. Louis or something.
That's cool. I like that one. How much was that one?
Where's that? That's Palo Alto. Yeah, I don't know. No, these are like me Googling Google images for artwork plaques, you know, kind of things. It's just everything I had in mind.
Yeah.
I think that could come out. I think that's something that.
It's another, this is.
Well, you also want to consider that some seniors, some older people may not want to do that. And some younger people, like my husband, does not like QR codes.
Oh, it's not exclusive to QR. No, I mean, I'm thinking this, you know, Silencio by Mike Clapper, you know, date, I don't know, a little piece like that. We've got something on,
Right?
what is the orchid called? Regenerado. Like there's a thing on, you know.
Yeah, he did that.
Yeah, so that kind of thing,
Mhm.
with a QR code in the corner,
Right.
you can go to our website. This is gonna 3D scan them all, so then we just spin them all around and you
So
can
it's
buy
gonna
it.
have the title of the
E-ring.
artist though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're not gonna have to use a QR code if they don't want it.
QR code is for more information.
We'd have to figure out where the median pieces, where that would go. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
not even the clapper,
Yeah.
but even the triptych.
You know,
the roundabout.
You have to get some type of post because we can't put the art cache on the piece if they have to cross to the
That's
median.
right, no, you can't.
Yeah, so we need something on the side that we can put the art cache on, or under, or around, yeah.
Yeah.
And ideally it would be metal, because the art caches, the real tiny ones, they're magnetic, so they just stick right on something metal.
I guess something bigger picture, because I think it could be something that could also be done on the historic side.
Yeah.
For like the barn and the coal carts and things like that. And so I guess I'm looking at this bigger picture
Right.
with partnership and funding from arts and history.
That would be nice.
And having like having a common design
Yes.
for all of them, so that they all look the same.
Yeah, because you know, the vision here is that arts and history division.
Mhm.
And a lot of overlap, because think about it, there's artifacts, there's collection, there's exhibits on both sides.
And someone in the town is already doing geocaching here. I think it is someone, or they have, they're still live.
One
I
of
don't
the
know.
questions that kept buzzing around in my brain is, does the town have a redirect, a URL shortener built in? Because we want those QR codes to go somewhere that you can maintain, right? But with yours,
So that would, you know, and then we could invite Kevin and or Isaac to a meeting, like, I think we can do this more so that you have the opportunity to ask these questions and not just rely on me to be liaisoning.
we spend $5,000 putting QR codes all around town. We want to
Yeah.
control those endpoints.
Yeah.
Bring that budget back up though for just a second. I mean, is that something,
Oh.
would that help reduce
Sorry.
you down?
Yes, if you took the whole budget, then we'd be there. and we could wrap it.
Mhm.
And I think what that would do would be, you know, if CAPS is helping to do the planning and get it to the point where then it's just produced and then it's something that's shared with historic and you see what I mean, and then just do it. Does that work?
But would they have the money in their budget?
No, it would come out of arts and history entirely
history.
for both sides. That's what I'm thinking. If CAPS helps get it off the ground and help with the planning and the look and the feel of everything, I can share that information with historic so that we can get their buy-in, so that we've got that common look and feel for all of the collection, including historic collection. And then it's an expense that would come out of arts and history
Okay.
instead of CAPS.
Yeah. What do you think, Drew?
I'm happy.
Cause I'm again, thinking about it from a collection standpoint.
Yeah. And of course, we could always go to the board if we need more money for something.
You have a great
Yeah.
idea. I said
Yeah.
very receptive.
Exactly.
Does anybody have any opinions or reactions to the AI art competition? If we should keep that really for next year?
I like that.
Seems like people like it.
Yeah.
The workshop or the
No.
competition?
Competition.
I think we need to build workshops and get more people used to it. So they know there is a competition. Like if you teach an AI workshop on how to create AI art, maybe they'll do, the competition.
It was contentious, they're both contentious, right? And
Of course, art's always contentious, no matter what.
I also wanted
Yeah.
to, there's potential for partnership too. A former student of mine, when I taught at Metro, is now a full professor at C Boulder, and she specializes in AI. And that could be kind of a fun partnership too.
Yeah, my wife had an interesting suggestion. Because a bunch of kids ran into the room and they were kind of looking at the pieces but if we had the judging done by kids.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah.
We could totally do
Oh,
whimsical stuff too.
yeah. Make it a theme.
That would engage
Yeah.
the youth, and that's something that a lot of people.
That would be
are out for.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Like the theme could be Mouse's birthday party. Little mushrooms and like aprons,
I think we need to get you away from mushrooms.
Okay, well, I would go.
Let's get it.
and also, just, mental bandwidth, so Jerry, peace poles and the water, are people willing to take point on these things that they've kind of loosely been penciled in here as well?
Well, does the peacefuls, does that include the totems? Cause we need a lot of help on those totems.
No, that is a totally separate thing.
The totems.
Those are
yeah.
like fence posts with caps on the top or solar lights or whatever you want to do with them. And it also requires somebody painting them, like a competition or groups in town
Yeah.
somebody sponsoring it or something too.
Yeah, maybe that's another neighborhood grants for the partnership.
Ooh.
It's some neighborhood that says, yeah, we have the budget for it.
We still need to get help on the totems to get those out for the ARTery.
Proposal projects.
And you just table the artery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
So
Are we
what do I
tabling?
do with all of these
Yeah, what are we
things
doing?
I have taking up
That's
space
right.
on my work
No,
table?
we'll stick them somewhere.
Oh, we will.
So we're tabling the art
We get to go somewhere.
So we're good.
Well, I'll glaze them and.
No, we're going to revisit it. We need to have a session like this where we have 40 minutes to just talk about
Okay,
what the already.
because we do need to get them out of her place because she needs more room for my stuff.
No, we should. Just go stick them into the sidewalk.
I'll just box them up and stack them behind my.
We have enough,
behind my
we
husband's
have enough for a
bus.
display ultimately. Did you get enough for?
We have enough to make one.
That's it. It's just,
But-
no, it's a lot, yeah, a lot,
But like a 5-foot
yeah.
totem takes a lot of pieces, you know.
And people made
I've
like.
been building like 16-inch ones in my studio.
It's been,
And that takes a lot of pieces.
I mean, it was
Do
really,
you feel comfortable with just one totem? I know you had talked about a group.
well, you guys were having her do a
Yeah,
whole
we kind
totem
of
garden.
talked about having different sizes, like 3.
Yeah,
Or would you feel comfortable if I just made them myself and put them out there in with the
but
community
pay
ones in
you
between
for it,
them?
if you're gonna do that.
No, I don't need.
You
to
would just
paid
be
for it.
finishing it.
I would just be finishing it, supplementing bigger bulbous things.
I'll help you.
On Superior Park.
But I do need to decide where to put it.
Garden bed or.
Yeah, just it's down near Circle Park somewhere or something. There's plenty of just triangles or something that we could put it.
Wildflower Park, I mean, I think if we could do a drive-through and.
You know what might be fun is if caps,
spot.
can caps get together to make the
Yes,
pieces?
absolutely.
Can we all get together and have like a caps night where we just make the pieces? So Sherry's not doing this ourselves because we are also opening a gallery, so it's a lot of work. Okay,
Either that or do a work session.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
would it-
Yeah, sometime next
Our
year.
discretionary
Yeah.
budget for pizza and.
yeah.
I think a work session would be fun. We don't have other on the agenda, but I do have a couple of other things.
Okay.
I like that. It looks good. Do we have to vote it or what do we need to do, Andrew?
Oh,
Do I need to motion to approve it as it is?
What, this?
To finalize it?
I think you should maybe revisit one more time next month if you
Yeah.
have the time.
Okay,
Just in case you may think of something.
I'll clean it up and send it out, so we
Okay.
can take more pot shots at it.
I
what
mean,
if we don't get 70? Oh.
70 what?
$1,000.
Yeah,
Dollars.
And then, yeah, so our path, I think we need to, like Chris said, we repeated, we need to just revisit, the
redo
the
it.
path itself. How we're going to, no, I mean, I like our path, but it's, how are we gonna roll it out, especially with what we learned about the metro district?
Yeah,
Are we gonna pick a spot to focus on this year, a different spot maybe, and a piece that we feel is appropriate, we gotta come up with a strategy for how we.
Is the metro district completely,
I wanted to.
crickets? Did you guys ever?
I have no control over the.
I know it's not any.
I just didn't know if they ever like,
They are not particularly cooperative, no.
yeah, okay. So
Even for their residents, so. Wish I did.
Okay, JG, we may have other.
So other, just an FYI, the bronze, sculpture in Purple Park of the woman riding the bike, it actually fell.
Oh,
Well, I think it probably was coming, but it did just get cleaned and waxed. And they definitely don't do anything to jar it. That piece has
Right.
been in the ground since 1990, so
Could you wanna
34
hit it?
years. No, it really looks like
like shifting.
like the concrete probably, cause
Yeah.
it's got a base.
Colorado concrete.
And underneath, there's rebar that was welded to the underside, and
Yeah.
it looks like the rebar was in concrete footers.
Mm,
And I literally think it just crumbled. 34 years
right,
in an area that's getting irrigated all the time.
yeah.
I think it just wore out. And
So-
I think it may have just a little, they probably touch it more than it normally
Oh,
gets.
wow. That is
Just from the waxing
up.
and the cleaning, so
Yeah.
that may have just literally pushed
Really
it.
scared.
So I wanted to thank Andrew for alerting me, and we did pick it up. It is gonna take a little time to figure out the best direction for repair with getting the rebar replaced.
I was gonna say, is the rebar still on there in this one
It
side? It
is,
looks
but
like
it's
it might be
really
gone.
short, and
Yeah.
I'd like to get longer pieces and better footers and the whole line. So I don't know when it's gonna go in, but just so you know,
Yeah,
I did send a statement to comms because I guess a couple people did inquire. And so I gave him kind of a more formal statement about what happened.
does CAPS pay for that or?
No, that's maintenance.
Okay.
And then the
I
other,
mean, we
Have
did.
people complained that it's missing?
a couple people just asked like, what happened?
There we go, of course they did.
What happened to her? She came to life and run away. Kevin said the same thing.
It's
She just ran off into the sunset. The other thing I just wanted to let you know is that, this is just optional, but all your December meetings for all advisory committees can be a little more informal, and if you would like to meet perhaps like at a restaurant and have your dinner in that way, that's
Yeah.
something that you can
For
think
our
about
December meeting?
for your December.
Oh, they changed that, how come?
Oh, they've always offered that. You all just always decided to stick to business.
Flowing through it.
Do you have to take notes if it's at a restaurant?
Yes. Well, not like this.
Just control the dinner.
We haven't voted yet.
We have to vote, that's it. So,
Because it's more of an informal meeting, so it's.
I am
it's
making
pretty
a
much like
motion.
Work session.
right now that Liz becomes the new secretary. So I need someone to second that so that we can vote on it and make this official, please.
Elections are in.
No, we really can't. What if I resign as secretary? Can I resign and then she does it? Because we elected both of us.
Anyway.
Damn it. I'm trying everything.
Can we take advantage of that missing bicyclist sculpture somehow by putting up some signage saying pop-up caps is bringing you new sculptures?
But it's gonna go back.
It's the
Well, sure,
same.
but at least it's an empty space
Please
that might
stay
catch people
tuned.
eye and.
Bike is being repaired. She got a flat tire.
But see if wants to go down the hill while you're at it.
That's funny. Where art thou?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're art.
Maybe,
Got it. I like that. So we really can't vote for her to be secretary right now.
we couldn't think.
It's not a,
about
we
it.
have a voting item on, you know, it's
It's not
not on the
official.
agenda.
What we could do in November in time for December. Because they did that.
So that you can take the notes. too.
And the
While we're
dinner.
drinking. I'll help you.
Any other go backs? I mean,
Sorry, what was 7D? What did we talk about there?
everyone, please tell all your friends and, let's get some sponsorships in the remaining, with the remaining 2024 funds.
And should we open?
How
it
much
up
more
to
do we have
salons?
left?
And especially with Philharmonic, if that.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Salon parties? Salon what? What would I say?
What did they?
Should we open it up to the salon?
Salon performances.
Performance.
Now, can they serve alcohol at those performances?
If they're in the house?
If they're in their house?
It can't. What?
Is soiree. The correct term is soiree. SOIREE. It's French.
Yes, the French.
Which actually involves French wine, so,
Alcoholic beverages cannot be purchased with the sponsorship money,
right.
but if, we'll look into all of that because of public versus private, all that.
But part of that was using the screen. If the screens weren't involved and a resident said, with the money, I want to hire the boulder fill. And then independently bought alcohol or something, I think that would.
Right.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't.
Yeah,
Gotta get you.
the other in-house events that I've gone to have all been BYOB
Yeah.
as opposed to anybody providing it.
I'll bring mine.
Okay. Any other questions, additions? Susan and you and Brandon are gonna continue to kind of push ahead for future.
Yeah.
We've sort of talked about trying to get more of our events and things into Hello Superior further ahead and stuff, so if we can get these things pushed out, that'd be awesome.
Well, and since we have a couple minutes and we were talking about Civic Rec, one thing that Karen and I have talked about, and I know this would be a heavy lift, but with traditional programming, usually it's in the 4 to 6 months ahead of the game kind of planning. And for staff, you know, we're planning that far ahead so that things get into the rec guide. And then the rec guide connects directly to what's in civic rec. So it's all going out and kind of working together in tandem. And so, you know, I'm not saying that that's what CAP should be doing, but when and if we can, we certainly could. And then when I know my rec guide deadlines are coming up, then I could include those things.
When did you get my class listed in the civic rec? When did that go live? I didn't even know it went live.
It's, we just listed it. We literally just listed it not long ago.
Right, like 2 weeks ago? Or a week ago?
Well, that's a
Because I was out of town. I did
Yeah.
it like
Yeah.
a few days after I got back. I put it in civic rec, but then comms didn't pick it up until the other day.
Which it's already full.
Yeah, but then it filled
Yeah.
that afternoon. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there too, that, you know, that connection. Maybe next month we can add it to the agenda to talk about civic rec versus event area.
I mean, do we need it? I
I
we run a
like the
couple-
liability of it. I think
We've
it's
run a
amazing.
couple on Eventbrite, let's run a couple on Civic Rec and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my issue with Civic Rec is that, you know, 65+% of traffic is mobile,
Yeah,
and Civic Rec on mobile is atrocious.
that's true.
Yeah.
It's like,
And
it's
we have
actually
to follow,
impossible to use because you can't even zoom in.
Yeah, you have to hold your screen. Yeah.
Karen kept saying you could just call right up and nobody wants to do that, right? I mean,
No.
yes, you can, but that's not how people operate, right? We looked on how to we signed up for something that was free, and we just wanted to cancel, so this someone else got the spot, we couldn't figure it out, but she made it sound like it was easy, so we'll give it a.
It's not easy, it's possible though, because I've done it, but I'm polite and I cancel.
Yeah.
But
I think it's important that
it
the
is possible.
workshop instructors have access to like the list and can make the changes. Or, you know, like, hey, we've got all these people on the wait list. Like on Friday night or something, because that's what we ran into with your workshop was so many no-shows.
Question for 2025.
We could have just called the wait list people, but I didn't even think about it. And you were going through other stuff too, because that was
For these workshops, do we want to adopt one of these minimal fees? Do we want to just?
I would love
$5
to,
Across the board?
but it's too late for mine.
2025,
Oh, 2025. Who's the first workshop?
trying to talk Chris into it, but otherwise it's.
AI.
Yeah, it would be.
$5 fee, man.
It's a bargain.
It's a bargain.
It's the first one that, I mean, his first one we did and it overflowed.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
didn't have any trouble with people showing up for his.
Yeah. $5 fee.
Yeah.
Do
We
it.
could rent a giant screen and fill up the stadium.
We have a stadium?
The-
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I think it's sometimes weather related. It's like, oh, it's a nice day, let's go for a hike instead of being inside. So maybe winter events do better too.
See, I was thinking people wouldn't want to drive because I don't go anywhere when it's.
But I would rather have,
It's terrible.
12 serious yeses than 25,
Yeah,
that only show up to 7 or whatever, I'd rather,
Yeah.
know that you count.
and like also
Something
maybe
there.
last minute, I'm feeling generous and we'll let like 5 more in. I don't know. Not me, but somebody else might be nice. I don't know.
You can't if you have.
Have there been
supplies.
any events that have not had wait lists? And they all had wait lists? Because if they have, then we put in a fee and people kind of self-select where the hell, how determined they are to go. And I think it's prudent.
So how is it gonna work with our workshops with what this place is doing with that commercial company coming in to do workshops?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It won't? Thank you. Okay.
Unless you think we can't compete.
Oh, no, I can't.
Then there we go. Just keep doing it. I love it. All right, anything else? All right, and I motion that we adjourn this tax meeting at
Seconded.
7:53.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
earliest we've ever adjourned.
Right? We did good. We did awesome.
Recording stopped.
Thank you all.